Hello, I'm Don Foster, your host. Tonight, we're doing a three-part series about Robert Emerson's life, a true powerful example of success. Part one would be about the time Robert was born into, life in the hood. Part two will be about choices, about making a living selling drugs and the consequences that came from that. Part three will be the newest chapter of his life, from growing out of the hood thinking, getting off the streets, having a full-time job, marrying the love of his life, putting behind him the experience of homelessness, drug dealing, and prison. Robert, welcome.
Hello.
We sure appreciate you taking time. Tell us who Robert Emerson is.
Well, I'm a hard worker. I work a 9 to 5. I'm a Christian, first and foremost. I'm a husband with a beautiful wife.
It has a great name. She has a great name, right?
Yeah, Christian Emerson, Mrs. Emerson. I'm a grandfather, a parent, a family man. I'm a hard worker, and I came from a rough background. So I say I'm a survivor, an encourager, a helper.
And you're so young. Think about that. You're in your early 40s, right?
Yes, 40.
So here I'm 61, no grandkids yet, which I'm hoping somebody's going to work on that for me over there. But anyhow, you think about that, I'd say, well, you look awful young for 71 to have grandkids and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's an amazing experience. One of the things you shared with me is, what you're born, the time that you're born into. We're talking about the beginning. You're born in the hood, okay?
Yeah.
Define to me, what would you be your definition of the hood?
Well, my definition of the hood, well, I'm from the lakeside of South Bend. That was my hood. And the definition, I know it's a lot of suffering, and it's a lot of heartache and pain. It's a lot of struggle. It's a lot of hopelessness. Yes. A lot of single mothers, a lot of renting, a lot of landlords who don't care for their tenants, which brings the whole vibe. Liquor stores on every corner. That's the whole vibe. It's all negative. It's all down.
Well, let's talk about a young man. As a young man, what are you got brothers, you got 3 brothers and a sister, right?
Yes.
And think about the life that they're growing up in. They're right with you, right? They're part of that core time. Born into that same time. What were your choices growing up? I mean, were your choices like, I could have been a builder, I could have been an architect? I mean, I travel. I shared the story with you earlier. I'll go to some of the events where they have a work event or something like that for the schools, a work day or masonry day they'll have for the schools, and they'll bring, 600 kids from all the different schools, and I'll have a table that I'm at, and they'll bring 20, 25 kids at a time, and I get to engage them. I only get, anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes with them before they move on. And I'll talk to them about masonry, or I'll talk to them about brick. And I'll share with them, what are you guys and gals going to do? They're juniors and seniors. What are you going to do when you get out of high school? What are you looking at? What are your future? And some people are like, I don't know yet. A lot of them are planning on going to college. And then the most, as far as construction trade, is to be a welder. I cannot tell you how many times that's repeated last year and a half as someone to be a welder. I even started asking kids, wait a minute, where'd welder come from, right? Of all the different choices. But for you, was it, I wanted to know my business, I wanted to be a mason, I wanted to be a builder. What was it what were your choices? What were the choices that you and your family and people in the hood, your brothers and sisters and friends, what did they see?
Well, my grandma and my mom, they tried their best to steer me in a different direction. But the only thing I had ambition for, or I could see myself doing, was either be a basketball player, a rapper, or a thug, gangster, drug dealer. That's it. That was my backup plan. That was it. If I ain't making big doing the other 2 things, that was it.
I would have thought of even my choices as a kid growing up Of course, there wasn't there was drugs in high school back in my day, but it wasn't a very visible thing for me growing up. Okay, I'm on the farm. I went from the city of LA till I was 10 years old, running from the gangs, to milking goats and cows. So you talk about that life change, shock. But boy, in California, we weren't exposed to it like we were in LA. I'm sorry, California, in Pennsylvania. We're baling hay, and all that kind of stuff. So you don't see you're trying to grow food. That's what you try. You hunt.
Right.
Those kind of things. So I didn't ever think about that, but I never would have thought of my life saying my choice would be I could be a gangster, I could be a drug dealer, those kind of things.
Yeah, I think watching rap music, my older brother was 10 years older than me, my sister was 8 years older than me, and looking at them and their friends, and that was my role models. And they, of course, they both changed their lives, so I'm not trying to down them or nothing, but them was my role models, and back then that's what we knew.
Okay. What about dating? Was it a life of dating that you're brought up as your values, that you say, well, I'm dating this person that eventually might want to marry, as kind of the testing grounds? Or was there any thought about that going forward as you were growing up through the hood? What was that structure like?
No, I had the thinking that all women was, and it was just the try to get some. Like, it wasn't really about
A relationship?
marriage, getting a house together and building a foundation together. It was never about that.
So nothing about when you dated one girl was never thinking I'm just going to date one girl and we're together now.
No,
We're
the
committed.
object was to have as many as possible and let them all be cool with each other.
What about when you think about the hood as far as coming up some of the negative core values or the negative core thinking that you're thinking of? Like something you shared with me a while back was, you get in that mentality, run first. When something happens, run first, or the system is just corrupted, or the system is just against me or out to get me.
Yeah.
Take us in a deeper dive with that.
Yeah. I always believe, and I think was my biggest problem. It was that the system, the system, the United States of America system, was against black people. That it don't matter what you try to do, it was roadblocks that's go press you down, put you back down. You can't live in certain neighborhoods. You can't open your business, like all them things, like a real business. Not, of course you get one of them little stores or something, like a real business. Mm-hmm. And that white people, and specifically white people, I'm nowhere near racist, but specifically white people ain't gonna let you do that. They gonna hold you back. You ain't gonna get that promotion. You ain't gonna you ain't gonna get, So the police against you. They just want to lock you up. The judges, they just want to lock you up for as long as possible. And so with that way of thinking, that made me like anti-system. And throughout my life, that's how it's been at that time.
And that really puts you on at the odds of the police. They're not there to help. They're not there to be your friend.
Yeah.
They're not looking out for you.
Right.
They're just clicking the time. It's a clicking talk. It's a clicking clock is what you're looking at, right? As far as when, right?
Yeah, I even accidentally did that to my daughter. I remember one time we was at the house, and my daughter was probably about 6 years old, maybe even 4, somewhere around there. And then she woke up in the middle of the night. And she said, Dad, I can't sleep. I'm scared. I'm like, why? She's like, the police keep walking outside my window. So me and my brothers, we jump up because, we got all type of stuff, drugs, guns in the house and stuff. So we jump up because now we scared. So we start looking around, looking. There wasn't no police. But now that I got older and I look back and think of it, she wasn't scared of the boogeyman. We didn't instill that until she was scared of the police.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. What about your life in school? What was school like as far as coming up?
In school, I was pretty good at school. I got good grades. But I wanted to play basketball. That was my goal. So in 9th grade, I started getting in trouble a lot. And my basketball coach, started benching me. And I used to influence the other kids too to smoke weed and whatever, And once he started benching me, that's when I just really, and it didn't help that my coach was the security guard. He was a police officer, and so that reinforced my negative core belief, police against me, because he started benching me. So that ended my basketball dreams, and I just started, just started just getting money. Like, that's all I thought about, was just getting money. Yeah.
No, that's it's just crazy how our circumstances and our drive might be. You have great drive and ambition, but you didn't have the other choices available to you, or didn't realize that the other choices were available to you.
No.
The time.
No, at 15, I got a job at McDonald's on my birthday. My granny hooked up through a guy at church, and I was working there, but my side hustle was breaking into houses and making money there, because my mom couldn't afford nice things, the things I wanted. Not Jordans, we had to get the Reebok classics, the cheaper shoes and things like that. So the only way I could get them things, I had to pay for it myself.
Got it. So really, what defined you and your life choices or path really was between 9th and 10th grade, right? That's really that pattern when you turned 15, actually, right?
Yeah.
That's really what defined you.
Yeah.
Because you weren't even back in school at that time, right? You didn't even go back. You didn't finish high school as far as junior or senior, right?
I went, but I didn't participate.
Got it. Okay.
I didn't participate like I was. I was an honor roll student. I was in advanced classes in my freshman year, but when that happened, I just gave up, because I really just did it for basketball. I just wanted to play on the basketball team. You had to keep your grades up. So.
Well, this has been great. We'll wrap up. We'll take a break from part one. Would love for you to come back for part two. We're going to get into a little bit more of the life choices and the consequences of that. I hope you come back. Thanks for watching.